Good, Gavin. Yeah, thanks. Sure, it's a long road and it's slow, but just keeping the head down and getting through it slowly. Just tip away every day, get a little bit stronger. But it's kind of a lonely enough journey and a slow journey. But sure, you just got to get on with it. That's part of sport, and unfortunately, it's not my first time on that road, so I'm just tipping away.
Good to hear that. We wish you well with it anyway. Special Congress on Saturday. This is huge as regards the football championship for next year, the All-Ireland Championship, Tony, and what format it takes. There's been a lot written about it. There's been a lot spoken about it. Obviously, Proposal B is on the line. It requires a 60% majority to get through. I suppose straight out as a inter-county footballer, we just ask you where you'd like to see it go from a Waterford point of view.
Yeah, it's really captured the imagination of the whole country, I think, Gavin, or the GAA community anyway. I think it's fair to say that something has to change. The current format is not the answer. Is there a perfect solution? Probably not, but we need a better solution. I'm not completely sure what it is. However, I did bounce this question off Conor Murray recently, who's the Waterford football captain, and speaking on behalf of the players, he believes that Proposal B is the best for Waterford football and the Waterford football panel. So I'd be inclined to go with that man. He's an intelligent man, he's an articulate man, he's done his research, he's spoken to the players, and that is his view on it. So I think I agree with that, Gavin, being honest. I don't think the current format works. I think Proposal B is probably the best answer at the moment. But it's not to say that it can't change again over, we mightn't find the perfect solution straight off. Maybe it changes a little bit over the next couple of years again, and we might land on something. But it's fair to say that the current situation is not the answer for Waterford football, or a lot of counties like Waterford football. We have no business going down to Killarney at the moment or Páirc Uí Chaoimh to play teams thinking about winning an All-Ireland in Championship football, and that being the end of your year. So I think, yes, something needs to change, and Proposal B is probably the best answer at the moment.
And of course the GAA President Larry McCarthy and the Director General Tom Ryan came out and I suppose backed that yesterday, and I know that the quote used was, playing teams of a similar level and getting that competitive environment. That's what I suppose counties maybe like the likes of Waterford, the Carlows, the Wexford, that's what we need, I suppose.
100%, Gavin, yeah. And again, going back just to Conor's point, he feels that the Waterford football panel would be a stronger football panel next year if Proposal B is in place. He thinks there is a danger of losing a lot of players that won't commit unless Proposal B is in place. We don't have the depth of football already. The depth of football are in the county already. So to lose 5 or 6 guys who won't commit because of that would be devastating to the panel. So, I think he has communicated the players' views to the county board. I think the county board have yet to commit on what way their delegates will vote. But, you'd just be hoping that they'd listen to the players who have more at stake, I guess, than anyone else in this, or, a bigger dog in the fight.
Yeah, well, all will be revealed tomorrow, and just to give an outline as well of Proposal B, obviously will mean it'll be a league-based championship in the summer months, or commencing in early May, and your provincial championships would remain intact, but they would go to an earlier part of the year, be it maybe February, March, and you play every county in Munster, sort of maybe like your old McGrath Cup or things like that. So there'll be no shortage of games in it anyway, Tony. That's one thing for sure.
Yeah, and that's what Waterford's football need, or most of Division 4 teams and maybe Division 3 teams, more competitive games where you get to prolong your season maybe and learn a little bit more. You can do all the training you want, but playing games against teams of a similar level is key. Challenge games are only okay, especially at inter-county level, Gavin. Even at inter-county level, challenge games can be a lot of substitutions coming and going, different team going out for the second half, etc. So they only do so much. If you were coming in as a Waterford senior football manager, you'd want to have 7 or 8 games, really competitive games in the year, or maybe even more, against teams of your own standard. And also you're avoiding maybe some of those big beatings that really deflate a squad and deflate the management team and the players, etc. So I think, as you said, more competitive games is the key.
Well, all will be revealed tomorrow. We'll be keeping an eye on the extensive special GAA Congress across the afternoon in WLR as well, so do indeed stay tuned for that. We're going to turn our attentions to the local action, and it's round 3, the final round of group stages in the County Senior Football Championship. This this weekend, all getting underway this evening, Friday. It's the Nair against Kilmac Thomas in Group C for a 7:30 throw-in in Fairfield, and this is somewhat of an unusual situation here, Tony, where we have both sides already through to the last 8. The Nair having gone through without having kicked a ball yet. Of course, they received a walkover from Bricky Rangers last weekend. So how do you see this one going?
Look, the Nair won't be happy with that either, Gavin. They would have preferred to play a game. The more games the better for these teams preparing and looking to win a championship. I can't see anybody winning bar the Nair. I think it's going to be a difficult day for Kilmac. The Nair are a fairly serious setup when they put their minds to it, and I've no doubt they'll come well prepared, be really hungry and gunning for action. So I think the Nair will be comprehensive winners in that.
Yeah, of course, they've Michael Ryan back at the helm as well this year and had a good run in the hurling as well. Tony, with Formal Water, took Ballygunner, to within a couple of points. I know the Gunners pulled away in the end, but Kilmac come into this one on the back of a hard fought win against Brickies, and they have retained their top flight status now, so I suppose they can kind of go out in this game and maybe in the quarter final as well and throw off the shackles a bit, I suppose.
Yeah, look, very important for Kilmac just to cement in their senior status. It allows them to develop year on year, improve a small bit more. The games bring them on, something to build on again for next year. And they'll learn a lot from the Nair game. They will be exposed in different areas, but that's how you learn. You need to understand where your weaknesses are, etc. But it can only be good for football to see a team like Kilmac, a relatively big town, playing senior football, and you just hope that they put in a good performance, and learn as much as they can and try and drive on from this.
Absolutely, you're going for the Nair in that one. Saturday, then 2 games down for decision. Group B at 3:30 in Welsh Park. It's Galtier against St Saviour's. Galtier, of course, beat Kilrossity. Fairly feisty encounter last weekend. There was 3 red cards. Saviour's had a difficult first outing against Kilrossity. Galtier be strong favourites here, Tony.
They will. Galtier are an exciting up and coming team. They're putting together a hell of a backroom team there as well. I think they've Andy Maloney involved, Paco Kern, Jason Ryan, Jerry Fitzpatrick. I think they're on the outskirts. So they're a lot of experience on the sideline. They have some exciting players. They probably have the marquee forward in the county in Desi Hutchinson at the moment. Hurling and football, he's probably the outstanding scoring forward in in the code. They've JJ Hutchinson at full forward, and they've this young guy, Mark Fitzgerald, bursting onto the scene last weekend. So 3 forwards like that, Gavin, is very hard to quieten. Any team will struggle to handle 3 good forwards like that. That's an exciting team coming. Obviously the Ballygunner thing is going to impact on them. Can Desi afford to be training football 3 nights a week or 2 or 3 nights a week if they've Munster Club coming up in hurling? So that's kind of a big question mark there for them going forward. But yeah, you'd expect they'll be too good for Saviours this weekend. But Saviours have a couple of good players themselves. The Corcorans, Dara and Sean, they're dangerous. Dara's extremely dangerous forward, so he'll take a lot of marking. And Saviours, in fairness to them, they always fight hard. There's no lack of effort there. They're a tough team, and they won't be afraid to, get stuck in at the same time.
They certainly won't, and especially with Tony Corcoran, of course, still going strong on the sidelines as manager as well. But Galtier will probably get the nod in that one. Saturday night then, probably I suppose the real intriguing game of the weekend. Group A under the Fairfield floodlights at 7 o'clock. Balnacourty and Stradbally renew that great rivalry. Of course, Balnacourty are the defending champions. Of course, won the 2020 final 8 weeks ago now. I suppose at this stage nearly 9 weeks ago. Obviously, Tony, you'd love to be lined out in this one yourself, but you'll be watching it from the stands. Should be a big intriguing battle, and as you say, it'll be interesting to see where both teams are at.
Yeah, this is probably the game of the weekend, Gavin. As you said, Balnacourty, reigning champions. They're an extremely big physical side. They always kind of pride themselves on that, and when they are on at full flow, they're a very, very difficult team to stop. I've no doubt that they're probably strong favourites in this game, but the intriguing thing on this is both teams obviously want to win. Whoever tops the group will play the second in the other group, so you'll avoid maybe Galtier, Rathcormac, the Nair, etc. There's probably more on the line for Stradbally here. Where are Stradbally in their rebuilding process under Michael Welsh? Stradbally probably don't know. I'm not involved at all, so I know as much as anyone else, having just seen them last weekend against Ring or 2 weeks ago. I don't know much more than that. I think Balnacourty will probably have too much for them, but it is definitely the game of the weekend, and there are some really good matchups. I'm really looking forward to Conor Prunty and Shane Ahern in the middle of the field. That could be, if this is a relatively level game, that could be a rip-roaring battle. 2 massively physical men, 2 good footballers. Brian Luby maybe at centre back on Daniel Weldon. Daniel kicked 1-3, I think, against Ring. It's a step up for Daniel this time. He's marking the county centre-back. Brian will be massively experienced, but Brian will have his hands full with Daniel too, so that'll be another good battle. And then on the other side, you have Pod Charney and Mark Ferncombe still going strong and kind of leading that Balnacourty attack. So Kevin Lawler and maybe Shane Lannon will have their hands full there. Two nice matchups there as well. So a really intriguing game. I'm really looking forward to this one. Balnacourty probably too good for Strably, who are in a bit of a rebuilding process, but a Strably team under Brick Welsh won't be lacking in endeavour, and I just hope that they kind of rip into this game from the start and really make a really good contest of it. You don't want Balnacourty to be getting off to a good start and getting on top of you, but Strably will dig in. They're fit, they look hungry based on the Ring game, and they look like they're ready for action, so I'm looking forward to that one, Gavin.
Yeah, it should be a cracker, and as you say, I know Gary Herney was speaking after last weekend, and the same on the Strably side, Michael Brick Welsh. Both these guys will want to keep that winning momentum going and go into a quarter final then on the back of what would be psychologically a big win as well, because these two teams over the years, I suppose, beating each other, it's worth that extra psychological kind of victory as well, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Look, there's a massive rivalry there, but I do think Balnacourty are a little bit further down the road. Like Strably, I don't think are talking about winning a county title just yet. They're in more of a rebuilding process. I think it's a bigger game for them this weekend. They need to be competitive. Balnacourty know that they can do it. They're after wiping out Rathcormac there, as you said, 8 or 9 weeks ago. Like, when you look through their team, if they can afford to line John Elstead out at cornerback, he's a quality player. I did a bit of training with him earlier in the year with the county. Like a big strong man. Not too many clubs can afford to play a man like him at cornerback. So that'll just tell you about the depth that they have in their team. Like, massive rivalry, as you've said, but I just think Balnacourty are kind of closer to the finished product, and Brick kind of trying to rebuild Strably and remould them a little bit and bring through a couple of young lads, but still an exciting battle.
No doubt. Bring it on 7 o'clock in Fairfield on Saturday night, and the final game of the weekend then on Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock in Fairfield. It's Group D, Ardmore against Rathcormac. I know the last time these sides met in the championship, Rathcormac scored a comprehensive victory, and a lot of people, I suppose, in the lead up to this one are expecting a similar result this weekend, Tony.
Yeah, hard to argue with that. Rathcormac are a fairly serious outfit. They're probably the best coached team in the county. They're the best footballing team in the county. It doesn't mean that you always win, as Balnacourty proved 8 or 9 weeks ago, but they're a really, really good footballing team. Ger Power at the helm for a number of years now, and I think and Mick O'Loughlin with them training the team. I think it really shows the benefit of consistency, building year on year, getting a little bit better every year for 5 or 6 years, and look where they end up. They're a really, really top class outfit, and with Conor Murray there, probably the outstanding footballer in the county at the moment. Again, having trained a little bit with him earlier in the year, I just think his preparation, his fitness, his dedication is just a little bit above anyone else in the county at the moment, and he's a joy to watch when he's in full flow. So a difficult day for Ardmore. Again, this is Rathcormac, a team like Balnacourty that you don't want to get on top of you. They can rack up big scores very fast. They were, I think, 11 points up last weekend at one stage, and only for conceding 3 sloppy goals. They probably switched off a bit, but if you're looking at that, you'd say that's the perfect scenario. It's kind of a stick for Ger Power to beat them with, and I think they'll be ready for action and really gearing up for a really good tilt at a county title.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll want to win back that Conway Cup, and as you say, for Ardmore, they put in a battling performance against Clashmore, and you still see the Prendergast, Seamus and Declan still going strong. I suppose are struggling a bit for numbers over the last couple of seasons, and if you go back to the Clashmore game, I think they missed 8 frees that day as well, so they are somewhat unlucky not to be coming into this game with some points on the board.
Yeah, they're always a good footballing team, Gavin. Skills wise and that, Ardmore are always very, very good. They never lack that, and as you said, the 2 Prendergasts, God, they're some men, and they're still battling on. They were playing football before I started, and they'll be playing after I'm finished by the looks of it, and they're always competitive. 2 tough physical men who don't lack in the skills department either. They're just fantastic men, and kind of, I suppose, a bit like Brick and Gary Herney and John Herney and these guys, they seem to be around forever, and always performing. You never see the Prendergasts getting cleaned out. They're just always there, consistent as ever. And you just hope that Ardmore can put up a good performance here. But as I said, just with the quality of forwards Rathcormac are playing with, I think they might struggle a little bit.
Yeah, well, for interesting battles in store over the weekend, we'll have updates on air and online here in WLR as well. And of course, next weekend then, Tony, it's the quarterfinals. So I suppose a final point. I know it is tough going week on week. Pitches may be getting a little bit heavy as well, but hopefully a few good games. And I'm sure once it gets to knockout stages next weekend as well, that things will be upped. And I suppose we need a few competitive games in this football championship, maybe to, I suppose, finish off the year.
Yeah, look, I think once you get out of the group, Gavin, even the quarter-final, right, we might see a few one-sided games, but I think coming semi-final, if you end up with the Noyer, Galtier, Rathcormac, Ballinaccorty kind of thing in a semi-final, then you have some big hitters coming up against each other. Injuries, I think, is the key in a short, compact season. If you lose a player to a hamstring, etc., that's a 4 to 6 week job to get right. You're probably missing a full championship. Rathcormac, I think, are struggling with that. We see Ring having struggled last week. The Bricky is similar. So it is taxing on the players, especially coming straight out of a hurling championship. So I think injuries are probably the key to who wins this championship, who can stay with the fittest, and then obviously who can keep a really good scoring forward or 2 or 3 on the field, because they're the difference, they're the game winners, those guys.
Tony Gray, as always, really appreciate your time, and best of luck with the recuperation as well, as they say.
Thanks, Gavin, appreciate it.